Hello, good evening guys, this is Dr. Cool Auto Fix. How are you guys doing today? Welcome back to my channel. If you're coming here for the first time, subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. That is gonna help this channel a lot. So how are you guys doing today? Now let's dive straight into the topic. Suppose you're watching this video because your car is banging when it shifts, it bangs. Then this video will likely, there is 90% chance after watching this video from beginning to the end, you should be able to solve the problem by yourself. And here I'm going to be discussing all the possible causes that make most cars to actually shift and bang. Now the automatic transmission system in my own book is another rocket science that have a lot of parts coupled together working with it. So you need to actually know what some of them do in order to be able to be successful in addressing your transmission problem by yourself. Now when we talk about the transmission system, if there is any mechanical problem, it's going to affect it. If there is a fluid problem, it's going to affect it. If there's an electrical problem, it's going to affect it. If there is electronics, it's going to affect it. And there are some others that is not within this very group which I actually named here, but I'm going to be going ahead to actually start giving you the bombs, dropping the bombs right there. So, and this information which I'm sharing with you is the information which I acquired fixing most cars. And in today's video, this very Ford 2016 model happens to be shifting and banging, and that is why I decided to use this as the topic sentence to actually use to fix your car, because there are a lot of other similarities with other cars which I have fixed so far. So pay a very good attention to this very video today, because I'm gonna be hitting the nail on the head every point. Now let's go. The first thing that actually makes your car to shift and bang is a bad motor mount. And for this very car here, it have one motor mount here, so it depends on where the motor mount is located. Most cars will have a motor mount. First on the right here, that controls the horizontal motion, and why another one is somewhere around here that controls the vertical. So here on this very one here, this very motor mount here is toast, and this aluminum is kissing the other side. Now aside that, there are other influences that can actually make the car to shift and bang. The second influence that can actually make the car to shift and bang, which you need to check very well, is the cable. And this cable is actually the cable that's actually connected to your shifter, right? So when you have your shifter right here, it's actually been linked up with a cable somewhere, and that cable most often times is attached to the safety neutral switch. Now the safety neutral switch is what actually the computer uses to know when you shift out of the park to reverse, neutral, and drive. So if the safety neutral switch is not pressed to the last position where it's supposed to give the right signal to the ECM, to the transmission control module, or PCM, then there's going to be a shift and bang. So most of the time, some of this shifter here can have some little clearance within it, either maybe a loose bolt on or some sort of a loose clip that is holding the cable in place. So you want to trace the cable. I can't be able to trace for this very car right now because this car is a very much complicated car, so for me to actually find it and show you, but just like I describe it here, you need to find it. Then the other side again, which you need to also know, just like I talked about the safety neutral switch, is the safety neutral switch itself. The safety neutral switch, okay, here we go. For this very cable here, you can see it somewhere around here. I don't have touch to actually show you, but that's actually the shifter where the cable is actually connected, and most of them have adjusters. So if it is ruined, you can see it right there. So if it is ruined for any reason, then it's going to actually make the car to bang, because one of the symptoms when it's ruined is when you are on your cluster right here and you start the car, all right, or put it in you turn on the ignition on, you might likely not get the park, you might not see the park appear or the reverse. Either any of them is missing, then you know that the safety neutral switch is not well adjusted. The adjuster to the safety neutral switch is not well adjusted the way it's supposed to be. The other phase that can actually mimic the same problem which I talked about is when you have a bad safety neutral switch. The computer will have no knowledge on which of the position which the shifter has actually shifted to, either if suppose it has shifted from park to reverse, neutral, or drive. So it have no knowledge of whereabout where taking this shifter to, and that is actually going to make it to snap or bang when it shifts to the next gear. Now aside this, there are other influences. Let me go this way to explain detailing more. If you turn on your car for some model, it might be Passat, it might be Volkswagen, it might be Ford, whichever car make and model, they don't escape the rule. When you put it on, so long as it's automatic transmission system, you should see the park, reverse, neutral, drive, and sport. If you are not seeing this indicated when you turn on your ignition on, just like I turn on the ignition on here, then there is a problem. What do you think that can actually be this problem? The problem that you are facing right there is that one is there is a problem with your TCM. I've seen a lot of people who have Volkswagen model having this problem. So if you're not seeing the park, reverse, neutral, and drive, there are two possible things. If it is flashing, then your safety neutral switch is bad. And if it is flashing, your car is going to shift and bang. And if it is not flashing, but you're not seeing any of them being indicated right there, then it means that the TCM is probably offline. So your car definitely doesn't have a PCM, because if you have a PCM, there is no way it's going to happen and the car still starts and run, because definitely is there. Maybe there is missing a ground, the TCM is missing a ground, or the fuse supplying the power to the TCM is blown. Any of this is not going to provide an adequate power supply to the TCM. And when that happens, the TCM is going to automatically go offline. And when it goes offline, well, you're going to have a shift and bang, because at this very point here, the TCM that's supposed to be controlling the transmission system is offline. So technically speaking, the transmission system is selecting itself using the shift solenoid and a lot of other solenoid valve right there, or valves, shift valve that are present inside the transmission system. And that is why you can even see a whole shifting, erratic shifting from 1 to 4 or 1 to 3. The next most common cost of car shifting and bang for your automatic transmission system is when you have a low transmission fluid. A low transmission fluid can actually make your car to shift and bang, and sometimes it can also drag and make your car to go into limp mode and not exceed some certain limit. So when your car is shifting and banging, you want to check the transmission fluid. The health of the transmission fluid is very important. It's very imperative to the smooth operation of your transmission system. And if your transmission system fluid has worn out or is below the acceptable range, your car is going to shift and bang. So you want to check it thorough and make sure that it's up to the specification written on your technical service bulletin. Now the next obvious one, which most of you guys might be looking at but you're not really looking at it, is when you're driving and you're not seeing the miles per hour reading is not actually going on, but maybe this needle is just somewhere here and you're driving, the RPM is working, the coolant temperature gauge is reading, the fuel gauge is reading, but the miles per hour is not reading. That is a whole lot of problem. But the lucky side of this very problem which I talked about here is actually simple to fix. When you started experiencing that your mile per hour reading is not going on, that's the typical symptoms of a failed VSS. That's a vehicle speed sensor. Now I'm pouring this knowledge on a lot of you guys If I'm telling you to still subscribe to my channel, it means either you're wicked or you are inconsiderate. Because, to be honest with you, I never wish to actually share this kind of information with you guys. Because a lot of you guys are ungrateful. You don't value what we do here. The list of things which you can actually do to support us, to subscribe or even join our membership, you're not joining. Analytics is showing that 7% of you who are watching my video are not subscribing. Now let's go further. So when you have a bad vehicle speed sensor, it's not gonna, for most cars, its speedometer will not read correctly. Now I also want to use this very junction also to tell that some transmission systems, some car makes actually uses the ABS wheel sensor to shift the car correctly. I've seen this on Peugeot. So if your car is shifting and banging, or erratic shifting, or shift and snap, or has shift, then you want to check your ABS sensors. Now that is not the end. The next thing you want to check again, which is a common obvious, is output shaft speed sensors, input shaft speed sensors, vehicle speed sensors. These sensors, any of them failing, either the input shaft speed sensor, output shaft speed sensor, or vehicle speed sensor, any of them can actually make the car to shift and bang. And most of them also can make the car to shift erratically, can get it stuck in gear 1, and the next it flies to gear 4. And some of them can also be able to make the vehicle, to make the transmission to shift from gear 4 when picking up, which it actually supposed to be starting from gear 1. So the best fix on this very thing here is a very cheap scanner like this one here, which you can buy off AliExpress. It's not expensive, it's less than $300. But the information which this very simple device can give you can save you thousands of dollars in repair. Because most of the problem which I've seen that actually plagues most car owners, and that you're going here and there trying to solve, is actually electronics problem. It's only few people, which is the last one I'm going to be using to cap this up, that actually have a problem after going to replace the transmission fluid. I'm seeing some kind of comment somewhere where someone, after replacing the transmission fluid, then the car started jerking. Now there is a lot of things that can actually happen. Some mechanics are not very careful. They can be their attention to detail can be zero. And when that happens, they can break one of the sensor, one or two, any of them. All right. And if any of these sensors that are critical to the smooth operation of your transmission system goes bad, then it starts unleashing mayhems on you. And the other thing which the last advice I'm going to be advising you guys on transmission issues, do not allow anyone who is using a high pressure air to use the high pressure air to flush your system, to flush your transmission system. No. I'm going to be giving tips on how to flush transmission system the right way, how to replace transmission system the right way. I'm going to be using that as an update on the next coming video. So if you want to know the best way to service your transmission system, then subscribe, turn on your notification. By the way, I believe that most of you who are watching this video, definitely I'm expecting a very good positive turnout in the subscription and sharing of this video to a lot of other people, because this very information which I gave here, for 90% of the transmission problem which you have are revolving around this very video. This is not staged, but I've taken my time a lot. I've taken my time to actually make this video and to give you guys this free information, and I have decided on my own to enrich it this very much, that instead of splitting it, so if you finish watching it, you should be able to address the problem yourself with the help of a scan tool like this. And as a matter of fact, the very topic which I'm discussing with you guys today, this car happened to have one of them and two of them. The motor mount is broken, and one of the output shaft speed sensors is also broken. And should you take this to some other mechanics who have fancy stores, who have fancy shops. They might end up collecting your money and not even getting the job done. Some of them have a greater scan tool that are more expensive than mine, but they don't even know what to do with it. They don't even know where to look out for, what to search for using this scan tool. So it's not about having expensive scan tool. It's not about having expensive fixed shops. It's about having expensive ingenuity up here. So, guys, pretty much this is the end of this very video. Don't forget to subscribe. If I say don't forget, that actually means something is wrong somewhere. Subscribe, turn on your notification, and share this video with others. Give this video a thumbs up. I remain Dr. Fix. I'll see you on the next one on the proper way to service your transmission system that a lot of people have been failing. A proper way to flush your transmission system also that a lot of people have been failing. Bye for now.